What's up, Kate?
Hello, episode 7.
7,
right?
Yeah.
We're live.
We're into the 7th one of these things.
Yeah.
Apparently, if we were doing these every day, this would be the end of the week.
Wow.
I don't know why I thought of that.
Yeah, no, it's a good way to put it.
Yeah. For sure.
It goes to show the importance of momentum.
Importance of momentum, for sure. Yeah, because if you slow down, it's that much tougher to get back up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here
we are, though.
We found after we rearranged the studio, because we've had this set up for episode 6, as you may have seen, which thank you if you watched. If you didn't, get on that.
Or if you listened.
Or if you listened,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
But after we set up the new arrangement, we still took a little bit of time getting set because, it's just, it's like we were just saying, you got to get back on the horse, you got to get up again. But now we've got it going and we've got a plan. And
let's talk through the changes we have since episode 6.
Go
so
right ahead,
first
Kate.
off, lighting.
Yeah,
you good over there?
I'm good. I got you on screen.
Yeah, normally I'm the one that's fumbling around. So
exactly
interesting, but so lighting has been upgraded. Before we had the lights, but we weren't using those as part of the operational plan here. So we stood those up, got them turned on. That also meant that Ryan had to color grade and
white balance, color correct, and all stuff. And it's not perfectly balanced, as you can tell. If you switch between the different angles and whatnot, you can see there's definitely discrepancies. But one thing that I'm trying to do is things that I can't really control, that don't matter too much, I'm trying to let go of, both in life and production. So for now, the fact that we are a young podcast and we are doing as great as we can, I'm proud of. So back to Kate.
Yeah, so the lights are improved. We have better lighting. And I think it actually improves the vibe in here overall because it's not the harsh fluorescent light. So I appreciate that.
It's more of a neutral, daylight, basically, which is
feels more comfortable.
Like white balance, really.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like the walls look white, which is technically how it should feel. You know what I mean? If walls looked gray, then we're probably off in the color and everything. So.
Yeah. And then I also hung up another piece of art here.
Oh, wait.
So,
point again? Sorry.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now it's funny, too, because, long story short, didn't exactly hang it where I was planning on because it doesn't matter. But what's funny is it kind of perfectly fits in the corner of the frame without even adjusting the camera or anything. So
and what's nice about
fun.
The softboxes lighting you up the way that they do is that it's just kind of just out of the light. You know what I mean? It's kind of vignetted.
Yeah, and it doesn't have a glare off of it, which is good too. Yeah,
well, that too. And then even I'm noticing, because we use a ring light, even I'm noticing that there's a ring light reflection off the best coast, but not for the viewer.
Nice.
You see that? I don't know if you can see it if you turn around, but it's it's all about angles.
Yeah.
But what's funny is you can see a softbox reflection here in this angle off the bear.
You can.
But not a big deal, in my opinion, because the bear is also holding a large white thing. So it doesn't matter. But anyway, continue, Kate. What were you saying about angles and lights? And
I think you covered it.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think we covered it.
Nice.
Yeah, so we have the lights upgraded. Hope you guys enjoy. We keep upgrading the set quality of the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm enjoying the new setup for sure. Feels better, and it feels good after changing everything around to actually see it in action, feel it in action, et cetera, et cetera.
Ooh, let's go into the additional work we've done on the podcast, not just in the sets for our live production, but also Ryan has done a lot of work to figure out all the distribution channels so that we can not just release the video on YouTube, but also scale it across all the other major platforms where folks are listening to podcasts today. So
definitely. Let me go ahead and pull those
Spotify.
Yeah, cool. So for Spotify, we actually ended up getting on a service. Let me bring this to this angle. I ended up getting us on we ended up getting ourselves on a service called Anchor. Shout out to Anchor for making things really, really easy We basically upload our podcast, and then Anchor distributes it to different major avenues, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And recently, I've actually been introduced to like what Spotify is. I'm super late to the game, obviously. But for the longest time, I was just kind of listening to SoundCloud, YouTube, and all kinds of other platforms. But Spotify is really cool, and apparently it's the mainstream to what everybody's using. So I'm going to do kind of a first thing here. You might have remembered in an earlier episode that we pulled up browsers while we were on camera here. And if I am correct with this, give me a second. Hopefully I can pull up the link here.
Ryan's queuing it up, and then we'll switch to the angle that shows you guys where we're at. But yeah, it's super exciting because, before being limited to just posting on YouTube, it's not necessarily ideal for the end user, especially because if you're not, I think, premium or whatever, it kind of mandates that you're the full screen, which is great. I mean, I know how much you guys are enjoying this right now, but
full screen Kate.
I can also imagine use cases where you're walking the dog or you're at the gym or doing other things and you don't want to be bothered with that, or you want to multitask on your phone.
Yeah.
So really exciting that this is now up and available to folks regardless of what device they're on.
So the Spotify I'm having a little bit of issues with. It might be the fact that I'm trying to pull it up through OBS in the browser
we can
function,
just put the links in the description.
I'm going to try and pull up maybe Apple Podcasts, see if maybe that'll pop up. But if we can't get it, it's no big deal. It's one of those things like, hey, we tried.
If you're here now, you got here.
Oh wait, I actually have it up right now. So if you're watching, we have a white screen which should be showing the link, but it's not. So let's run back to the full gamut. But yeah, we'll just leave some links in the description. But if you are listening / watching right now, then you don't need the link because you're here. So thanks so much for being here. And we'll leave links so that you can send them to your friends and have them for later to come back to it. But I'll go ahead and get off of the browser link, and let me get back to myself here now. What?
There you go.
Oh, okay. Thought I heard something, but I wanted to talk about, speaking of new things and releases, I released my single Won't Back Down. I think we talked about it last episode, but we said we were going to leave links in the description, which we did. But now it's been out for a couple days, and it's really cool because I got not only that a word that it's on Spotify, but it's on Apple Music, it's on Google Play, it's on Amazon, and then iTunes, of course, which is like Apple Music. But it's really cool to just have like a song out finally. And I've had the song done for a bit, but it's like, it's one thing to just kind of stick it in the corner of the world. It's another to stick it on major platforms,
Yeah, you have a lot of gems sitting there on SoundCloud, and just, need to get them in places where it's easy for people to incorporate them into their existing playlists and their existing, where they're at right now. And I think SoundCloud has a very great, like, tight-knit community, but it's also... we even fall under our same couple channels that we like only check out, right? So
that's true.
Unless you're really pushing stuff on there or going on those channels and getting your album or EP in one of the bigger mixes, I think it's just it's hard to scale on SoundCloud.
That's true. Yeah, and I mean you're right. Like when we would be listening to like SoundCloud on trips and stuff like that. With the boys or like in the van or whatnot, then we would always listen to like Selection, just like a few SoundClouds, but yeah, exactly, which is like a really obscure like college radio channel that I don't even think anybody listens to. No offense to them at all, they're incredible.
That college in France.
Yeah, shout out to that college in France, exactly. But it's pretty crazy how we found some of the music that we have, and like Sonder and like other like obscure groups that are awesome, but it's like they're not the main. And I bet you if we would have like shuffled in Spotify and other stuff, and then like maybe put in certain things that we listen to, they probably would have pointed us to a lot of other things. But it's so again,
it just goes to show you how much is out there.
Right, exactly. There's a lot out there.
Get lost or get pigeonholed almost into what you're surrounding yourself by.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good to finally get more music out there. I'm planning on releasing my next single, Almost There, in the next few days. Just getting with my artwork designer, Nick, just to finalize the concept that we've been tossing around.
Cool.
But yeah, after that's out, gonna focus on a few more releases. I've got to like finish mixing and mastering like a couple others, but hoping to have 5, 6, 7 tracks out by the end of summer, which is my birthday. So
there you go.
By the time I turn 35, yeah, it's right at 35 or 34 right now. But by the time I turn 35, I should have a bunch of songs out on major platforms and hopefully maybe a few music videos. That'd be cool. Yeah. Considering I do that, like considering I actually shoot and edit videos, might as well produce a few for myself.
Yeah,
it might be a good idea.
I'll be your cinematographer.
Really?
Yeah, the stand-in.
The stand-in.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm the actor, then you're the one.
Right,
like you're the shooter editor.
Yeah.
For that day, the DP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll wear that hat.
You'll wear that hat.
I'll sit in that chair.
We got
I'll
that
carry
B-roll.
The camera. Yeah, I got this.
I got this. Nice.
Yeah,
right on.
I've maneuvered the run Nessie before. It won't be my first rodeo.
Maneuver what?
The run Nessie before.
Oh yeah. No, totally. You've handled a lot of our gear, and you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've learned from not the best. So
I've learned things.
Yeah, you've learned from some guy that
to do.
You've learned from some guy that has done some things over the years.
Watch some YouTube videos. We get there.
Yeah. It's mostly YouTube videos. I don't know anything. I have like bookmarks that on set. I'm like, oh yeah, how do do this? Okay, thank you, Peter McKinnon. No.
Cool.
Yeah,
we have some things in the pipeline. So totally. I think what's cool is we're starting to iron out the process for these things so that, right now, even the way we're recording the podcast with you switching between cameras, we kind of shoot so that we don't have to edit anything.
Yeah.
Which is great because it removes that as like a process in general.
Right.
And then, a lot easier. You don't have to worry about transferring the footage, re-rendering a couple times, like going through all that process of cutting, rendering. Oh, there's something else I want to cut out. Like,
right.
We just kind of make it as streamlined as possible.
Yeah, exactly. And full disclosure, we're streaming to the laptop, so basically it's pretty much all done when we're done, but it is nice because like there's certain little caveats that like I haven't really figured out in OBS yet. Like I tried to put our logo overlaid and it just like wasn't a good resolution of it. Most likely because it's streaming, so it's like streaming a document.
Yeah, so you do some post-production.
Right, so we do a little bit of post-production, but the great part is compared to what it used to be and the end result that we get, a lot shorter editing time and a lot like more straight to the point. It's like there's a saying in video production where it's called straight out of camera. This is much more of like a straight out of camera or like straight out the pipe, podcast or production. And what's great is we were even talking about it earlier today that like now that we are able to do this for ourselves in more of a streamlined type of workflow, we're able to like replicate this and reproduce it for other people. So we're really excited that in the future, Machine&Emotion, will be offering like M&E services, if there's, let's say another couple that hangs out and talks.
Any warm bodies can sit in these chairs.
Exactly. But I mean, think about like if there's another couple that talks and has fun and all their friends keep telling them, hey, you guys should really do a podcast. And they're like, we have no idea how to do that. We can really help you and kind of fill in the blanks. You know?
No, I'm really interested in doing a lot of different pilots with people.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's partner. Let's do 5 episodes. Let's kind of bring your vision to life. Let it get some like road under it. You know what I mean? Like, let's cover some ground and let's see what we get. Like, what do you think of the process? Because I think for a lot of people, the creative process is overwhelming. Because if you're not like an artist first and foremost, I'm not, right?
Yeah.
So it's like even
you had to get
learning
adjusted.
how and it can be a lot for people. And so, I think in this new age that we're in, by being home and kind of being forced to realize like, what do I want to put my time and energy into? There's going to be things that people want to do, but they're also going to be like, I don't know how to scale this, or I'm a little, we didn't know initially when we recorded our podcast what the best way was to get it out on all platforms.
Right.
Now we do.
Yeah. Totally.
Like now we know a better way to do these things. And so, I think what we're looking to do the most with Machine&Emotion is collaborate with other creators and people who want to just put stuff out there. Let's do it.
I agree. And I think, one of the biggest hurdles that we've even faced is just like getting going. You know what I mean? So like, I think once people get in front of the camera and they realize like how it's fun, and it's like, sure, like in history, public speaking has always been one of the most difficult things for people to do, or most like feared things, because, they used to put people in front of communities and like kind of like, oust them or, humiliate them for their transgressions or whatnot. But I think like now that we are in the type of modern realm where, video conferencing is the norm now for companies, we have to do that. YouTube is a thing. Everybody's got a YouTube. Everybody's got
it's more of a natural setting.
Right, exactly. So I think it's great when like you have people like us that are experienced in getting over the hump, because we can explain to people how it's really not that, like it's not something to fear as much as you would think. And then when we're able to show them like how easy it is, like you say, like do like a trial of like 5, it's like, hey, if they're afraid of it after that and they're like, I don't really want to do it. Well, hey, it was only 5. You know what I mean? It's like, it's
at least you can say you tried it.
Exactly.
Like, hey, I did podcasting, wasn't quite for me, but I tried it. Or you might realize that there's other elements you prefer.
Yeah.
Like maybe you don't want to be in front of the camera. Maybe you just want to narrate things.
Right. Or maybe you just do an audio like Bill Burr does. Maybe you just stick a Zoom recorder and a microphone in front, and that way you can relax, and not really worry about like faces you're making or like putting on makeup or anything, which you look great today, by the way.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Doesn't Kate look great? Woo.
Yep.
No. But anyway, but yeah, I've been really enjoying the upgrades that we've had to the studio, all the new links that we have to share with all of our friends that, it's like, it really feels legit. You know what I mean? Like, I just got to be straight up that like, I've been doing music for most of my life, but I really have just never taken the legitimate steps to like, put myself out there as much as I can. And no, I mean, really though.
No, I'm still just laughing at the fact that I'm wearing makeup had to be like, I guess it is rare. Enjoy it, guys.
I mean, I just wanted to recognize that you're making an effort today and that you look good.
Thanks.
So I appreciate it, and the camera appreciates it, and the audience appreciates it. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm finally taking steps forward that are probably long overdue. But at the same time, it's like, at least I'm not like on my deathbed, like regretting being like, I made music. It's like there's probably a lot of people that like, are sitting in a bar somewhere or just like chilling, kind of like whatever, not doing the thing that they should have been doing, talking about the thing they could do or that they could have done. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I'm glad I don't have to have that be where it ends up. Like, it's like, sure, I might be at the end of my life one day talking about what I did, but at least I'm talking about what I did instead of like what I could have done, So it's like, it feels really good to be releasing my music, music that I know and I love and and you love, but it's like, got to share it with the world because maybe they'll love it too, And I definitely used to have a lot of like encouragement of fans and friends and like circles around that were able to be like, you should do this, you should do that. But it's like everybody knows, like as you get older, the circle kind of gets smaller, and it's not like you're like in high school. Like when I was in bands, I was in high school, so I was around people all the time. Had no choice, But it's like nowadays, as an artist, I will say that you kind of get into like a hole, like a mental hole, and you get like self-doubt. And you just end up thinking like, whatever, but it's like, I appreciate you being a great partner and encouraging me and telling me like, you just need to do this, and like get your stuff out there. So thank you. Cause without you encouraging me, I probably wouldn't have put it out like I did. And I probably wouldn't be doing things like I'm doing, taking it as seriously and like really giving it a shot like it should, giving it like a proper shot. So thanks. I appreciate it.
Good. You're welcome.
Yeah. And I hope that I can
release them tracks,
right?
Get them out.
Well, but I mean, I hope that I can do the same and like encourage you to do things that you want to do, like with data and medicine and fashion and all kinds of things. And it's cool that we have friends actually moving here soon, which will be great. Yep. So we'll be
super excited. That was probably some of the best news I got. Is that one of my very good friends is going to be moving down to LA soon with her husband. So I'm just jazzed.
Yeah. And,
2.0. It's going to be LA 2.0
LA
for Kate.
2.0. Oh, okay.
So,
yeah. There you go. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Well, we're trying to convince your other friend. Here, so
slowly we'll get folks out here. But yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's really cool to think of too, that, the that couple might be like, people that we can show how to podcast and, just how to explore all kinds of avenues in their life. Because again, I think this is just, it's a shift in time where things that didn't used to be so normal and like, thinking of recording your own 3-camera podcast, that used to just be so insurmountable.
Well, and I think it really goes to show like right now the time is to monetize what you're good at, what you enjoy doing. And one of the things we're going to do is show people the assets that we've created that will allow monetization for different types of talent. So we won't crack that can open for this podcast because we'll be here all night, but we'll start to sprinkle that in because
definitely
as Machine&Emotion, we really just want to empower creators, empower people who can own something from end to end. And, there's a lot that machines are going to be able to do for us as we progress. I think we're starting to see that now, and COVID, unfortunately, is kind of going to bring that upon us because there's going to be this risk and like benefit to, okay, does it make sense to put humans out there to do this thing, or like, is there a robot alternative, right? And so one of the things we can do is say, what do we love doing, and figure out a way to monetize that and to get that out there and to get it in front of the people who can appreciate it. Because it might not be that you need to make a lot of money or you need to do a lot of things. It's just that you need to get fulfilled from these things that you enjoy doing.
Right. Yeah.
So
no, I completely
we're here
agree.
to help set those like pathways and connections up for people. And that's what we'll be starting to detail out.
Yeah. And just to clarify, it's a venture of ours under Machine&Emotion that's called I Own Assets. It's just like it sounds, like I own assets, but it's spelled IONE assets. We might change that to IOWN depending on how people feel about it. It's not exactly
everything we always do is usually up for change. So
no. Well,
that's the power
except for certain things like what's great is not to delve deep into it, but like with the assets, what's great is the way that we've created them with a protocol called Ravencoin. Shout out to Ravencoin. It's nice because you can choose a name for an asset, and as long as you lock in that name, that's your name. And nobody can take it or replicate it. You at that point would have to transfer it to them. We'll get really deep into that once we start getting into I Own Assets. But the great part is, like Kate was saying, we'll be able to empower people to, take their business, their brand, their products, their services, their, literary works. Like there are so many things that you'll be able to really take full ownership of. And not only that, you'll be able to ensure that you won't be deplatformed. You won't be canceled. You won't have anybody telling you, hey, that's against our guidelines. It's going to be really cool. So stay tuned for a series called I Own Assets, or something similar to it that'll involve the name I Own Assets, where we'll explain how we empower ourselves with our own assets and how we can also empower you with our assets or with your own assets, or both. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be really cool. What else? A lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah. That's probably good enough preview.
Probably, yeah.
Otherwise, they're putting more in front of us than we can chew, which is usually
right. But I was just saying, like, what else, like in general, with us going on, because we got so much stuff going on.
Yeah, we do. Just a lot of videos, I'd say, in the pipeline. Really, it's like now that we have the studio space set up to be more functional and just kind of ready to activate, depending on what the needs are. There's a lot of things we've been talking about doing that I think we're just in a more straightforward path to execute on. So we just need to start doing that.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Definitely.
So that we're talking to people and also showing people the things that we're talking about.
Yeah. I guess like the takeaway would be, and I kind of touched on this earlier, but it's like takeaway would be like talking about things that we've done more than talking about things that we could do.
Yeah. And just doing more and talking less.
Yeah. Well, don't talk until we've done.
Yeah.
But technically, isn't this thing all about us talking? What? I mean,
they're like, all right, folks.
What?
Yeah.
It's a podcast. It's all about talking. Because do you know?
I know, but we also are going to be doing more.
Do you know the origin of why it's called a podcast?
No.
You don't? Interesting. I like teaching Kate pop culture and origins and all kinds of stuff every once in a while, as she likes teaching me the other day, as we found out from the origin of the first of my 2 words in my artist name. Anyway, but the origin of the word podcast is that when people, were first getting iPods, it was a radio show that was recorded and intended to be downloaded to an iPod.
Yep. No, I knew that.
Okay.
I didn't know if there was some other definition.
You're like, oh, that definition.
Yeah.
Well, in that case,
that's more or less the history.
Well, duh. I mean,
that's
podcast.
How it came to be.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Well, now that Kate knows what a podcast is, or I should say, since Kate always knew what a podcast is, I think we can go to bed knowing that. No, I'm kidding. Go to bed. No,
thanks for tuning in, folks.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, folks.
This thing's running off the rails.
Screw.
Yeah, it's because we didn't start by singing Monty Pod. So since we didn't start by singing Monty Pod, we'll close by singing Monty Pod.
You're gonna take us out?
Can you cue it off though?
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. All right, the musician.
Yeah.
Can cue it off. You were in band, weren't you?
For another day.
Again, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Save it. The producers save it.
Yeah.
We're the producers. Okay. Dun
Monty Pod, Monty Pod, oh Monty, Monty Pod, Monty Pod.
We're not in the right key. 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 Let's do it again. No, let's do it again. So since you were doing it, I'll follow the key that you were singing in. Okay.
I only have one key.
Monty Pod, Monty Pod, oh Monty, Monty Pod, Monty Pod, Monty Pod, oh Monty, Monty Pod, Monty Pod. Boom, 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 boom. Dramatic.
Yeah, I only have one key. The fact that you expect me to potentially be in any other key, you haven't learned.
Well, then in that case, sorry about that, folks. In the future, we will make sure that we do Monty Pod in the key of Kate.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.
Bye.